There we go, the lights are in place. It's 1 o'clock. We're right on time, minus 2 minutes. Visual photography. For Photogrammety, in hopes of preserving what's in the Yucatan. Obviously, Ricardo is from that part of the world, and he learned to speak English just hanging out in New York City. Ricardo, go ahead, say a little bit about yourself, and then go for it.
Thank you, everyone. I'm going to talk with you about Photogrammety, a very good project we have in all the Quintana Roo and Yucatan area. In the pandemic, I don't know if someone of you know about the project Gran Acuífero Maya. You know which project is in Mexico. It's a currently project to try to preserve a lot of different archaeological and cultural sites which is underwater. This in particular, when the GAM came to me during the pandemic, asked me if I can work with them to help to make these photogrammetries, because they are doing some things a little bit like 60 meters, things like that. So they came to me and asked for help. They developed a very good software, very nice for doing some photogrammetry in dry case. Now we are using that same software and the software for the Yucatan University in Mérida to make our own photogrammetries with these archaeological contexts. You remember when we think the first humans in America was around 11,500 years ago. Now we know in Mexico, in Quintana Roo area, we find now it's 7 different schools and archaeological contexts. We know are 14,000 years ago. All these, probably you hear of one very popular is Naya, which have a very cool documentary National Geographic. All these areas have a lot of prehistoric ice age animals. So we know the human activity in this area is around more than 14,000 years ago. So one of the most important things with this project is we are now trying to preserve all these archaeological sites, which is very hard. We have a lot of development in all the Riviera Maya and the Yucatan Peninsula. Probably you hear about a very famous train which is going to run in the top of all these caves. It's a very sad story, but the problem really there is we have around 14 million visitors each year landing in Cancun. So they need a lot of water, food, service, power. So it's too much people, and of course the government is working for the money, so this is just going worse. The problem, now we have a huge development happening in Cancun. They are building a new 5,000 rooms resort around there. So, and this is all the Riviera Maya from Cancun to Tulum. You go, or some you are there or was there. All the highway, the 307, you see a lot of constructions on both sides. Originally, the project to run the train, it's going to be over the highway, over the 307, but the government asked to the owners of the resorts, they need to sell to the government 15 meters from in front of his properties. And all these resorts say, no, we're not going to sell anything. They push a lot, they have a lot of power, all the money, and then finally they pressure the government, and the government sent the train back to the jungle. And then now, that train is just over a lot of cave systems. One very famous, for sure, you already know about Sacartoon and the 370 kilometers system, so the train is going to run over that. So one of the things very important with this project is we are trying to save in a digital way all this information. There is a lot of context for sure we are going to lose. All of these cenotes are private property, so if the owners of the place say we are going to open to the people, and the people came here and go inside the water, because of course it's a lot of money with this tourist industry there, and they decide to move this or remove, we cannot do anything. So we are trying now with this project to save in a digital way all this archaeological context. This particular case with the photogrammetry, one of the things we are trying to develop with these guys is we want to be able to reproduce the real colors and the real textures we have, because that's one of the hard things to do with the light, you know. So here is this place. It's around 62 meters maybe, and already this archaeological context is already removed, so it's already manipulated. So we put this platform in, you see where the school is, and we start working with different cameras to try to make these photogrammetries and test different type of cameras, because we start doing this with a 5D Mark II, big camera, big housing, and we have the problem sometimes all these contexts are in the bottom, it's laying in the floor, and there are some in the slopes. So sometimes the camera, you cannot put the camera in the back because it's a slope. You cannot put the camera under because it's very big the dome. So one of the things is we change the camera for the small ones. Now we jump to a Sony A7R3, I think, and we try with that. Now we jump for a smaller one, a Canon G7, because all of these cameras make raw format files. So we are not trying to make pictures with a very huge deep field. We are trying to make photography objects which is very close to the camera, so it's easy with that. You can see here, this is one of the tests we did. There, of course, we are doing this with rebreathers, and one of the things is Direct is a major sponsor for this project with them. He made a huge donation for the project to work with this context, so we are using here the rebreathers. One of the things in these places, when it's very deep,